Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Syria on the boil as rebels capture Damascus. Russia says President Bashar al-Assad resigns and leaves Syria. India's External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar presents India's comprehensive strategy for West Asia at the Manama Dialogue in Bahrain. The leadership crisis deepens in South Korea. Prosecutors are open to criminal case against South Korea's President Yoon Suk Yeol. Dramatic scenes unfolded in Damascus as locals walked inside the al-Rabda presidential palace following reports of President Bashar al-Assad fleeing the country. Russia says Syria's President Bashar al-Assad has resigned from the presidency after talks with all sides involved in the conflict and left the country. It is not known where he has taken refuge. In just over a week, the rebel group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and allied factions captured vast territories from Assad's control, including key cities like Aleppo, Hama, Homs, and many more. This comes as the Syrian rebels earlier said that they had freed Damascus and had ended President Bashar al-Assad's 24-year rule. In a televised statement, one member from the Syrian rebels said that the city of Damascus has been liberated and that Bashar al-Assad has fled. He has been toppled and all detained persons from prisons have also been released. A total of 9 individuals appeared on Syrian television, one of whom delivered the statement, the number one from the Fatah Damascus operations room. Earlier in the day, as per reports, Assad fled Damascus as rebel forces captured the capital. He fled Damascus in a plane. His whereabouts are unknown. The Syrian Prime Minister Mohammed al-Jalali, who is still in the city, has said that he is ready to cooperate with any leadership chosen by the people and for any handover process after rebels have taken control of the administration. The rebels have said that public institutions will remain under al-Jalali for now. The nations in West Asia remain on alert over the situation in Syria. The Israeli military has deployed forces in the UN-monitored buffer zone with the country. Lebanon said it was closing all its border crossings with Syria except for one that links Beirut with Damascus. Jordan also shut its border crossing with Syria. Meanwhile, the UAE has said that developments in Syria reflected political failure and the destructive nature of conflict. The US President-elect Donald Trump has said that his country should not get involved in Syria. He added that Syria is not Washington's friend. In a social media post, Trump called Syria a mess. He also said that Russia, which had backed President Bashar al-Assad, was incapable of stopping rebels' march into Damascus as it was tied up in Ukraine. The White House, meanwhile, said that the US President Joe Biden is keeping a close eye on the extraordinary events transpiring in Syria. According to a statement, President Biden and his team are closely monitoring the situation, the extraordinary events in Syria, and they are staying in constant touch with the regional partners. This is what the National Security Council spokesperson Sean Savett said in a social media post. Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian president, was known for ruling the country with an iron hand, and he was part of the Arab socialist Ba'ath ideology. Now he has left the country, which has been swept by rebel forces. Let's take a look at this report.
This is the end of road for Syria's president, Bashar al-Assad. He has left Damascus, from where he ruled the nation since 2000. He stepped into power following the death of his father, Hafez al-Assad, who ruled there for 3 decades. Born on September 11, 1965 in Damascus, Assad pursued medicine, specializing in ophthalmology in London, before entering politics after the untimely death of his elder brother, who was groomed for politics. Assad maintained his father's hardline stance in Syria's decade long conflict with Israel, continuing to demand the return of the Golan Heights and giving support to Hamas and Hezbollah. Relations with the United States worsened after Assad denounced the US led invasion of Iraq in 2003. Assad's presidency has been defined by the ongoing civil war, which erupted in 2011 amid calls for democratic reforms. His government has faced widespread allegations of human rights abuses and war crimes, drawing international condemnation. As Syria's civil war continued, Assad's grip on power, once uncertain, strengthened. The rise of ISIS in 2013 shifted global focus, with countries like the US prioritizing ISIS defeat over Assad's removal. Russia's military intervention in 2015, though airstrikes and ground support helped Assad reclaim most major cities by 2017, confining rebels to Idlib by mid 2018. Amidst waning conflict, Assad initiated reconstruction efforts, including infrastructure projects and controversial policies like Law 10, which allowed the government to seize property left unclaimed by dispatched Syrians, benefiting loyalists that sparked large scale criticism against him. Despite global sanctions, Assad retained power with robust support from allies like Russia and Iran, crucial in shaping the course of the conflict. Married to Asma al Assad, Bashar led a nation struggling with economic hardships, displacement, and recovery efforts, remaining a central figure in West Asia geopolitics. Bureau Report, DD India.
The External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar of India, presented India's comprehensive strategy for West Asia at the Manama Dialogue in Bahrain, emphasizing the region's critical importance to India's economic and strategic interests. A significant focus of the address was on the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, announced at the recent G20 summit.
Today, the global connectivity is very fragile. It is very limited. Many of the historic disruptions have not been addressed. And one of the most ambitious initiatives here is the IMEC, the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, which was agreed upon by a set of countries during the G20 in India in 23. And we hope that from India, across the seas, through this region, to Europe, across the Mediterranean, into Europe, we will see this connectivity corridor materialize.
The minister outlined India's active role in regional maritime security, maintaining a naval presence in strategic waters and participating in international security initiatives. Jaishankar also highlighted India's humanitarian assistance to Gaza.
We have supplied relief material both relief materials, particularly medicines, because we are a prolific producer of medicines. So to Gaza, through Egypt, through the Palestinian Authority, separately to Lebanon, to the government of Lebanon. So we are doing something up there. A lot of what else we are doing has been to some extent on the diplomatic side, because we are one of those countries which has the ability to speak to Israel, to Iran.
Well, the minister highlighted that India conducts annual trade worth $170 to $180 billion with the Gulf Cooperation Council, the GCC, Iran and Iraq, while trade with Mediterranean nations amounts to about $80 to $90 billion.
We've had, from an Indian perspective, certainly in the last 80 years, by and large, a very positive, constructive relationship with Iran. And we are naturally guided by that experience. I think today, just as we are able, to be a member of the Quad and be a member of the BRICS, as we are able to talk to a Russia and to a Ukraine. I think we do not see the world in sharp binaries. We have a relationship with Iran. We are very open about it. We have a very strong relationship with individual GCC countries and collective. And we think it's perfectly possible to coexist to everybody's benefit.
Bangladesh's Foreign Affairs Advisor Mohammed Tawheed Hussain has expressed optimism about resolving the ongoing trade recession with India, which has persisted over the past 2 to 3 months. The comments were reported by the state-run news agency Bangladesh Sangbad Sangstha. Speaking at a seminar in Dhaka on Sunday, Hussain shared his belief that the trade issues would be resolved amicably. He also highlighted the scheduled visit of the Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, who is set to arrive in Dhaka tomorrow for Foreign Office consultations. The talks are expected to focus on bilateral trade challenges and other key areas of mutual concern. South Korean prosecutors have opened a criminal case listing President Yoon Suk Yeol as a suspect in their investigation of his declaration of martial law last week. DD India's Abhishek Bose reports.
South Korean prosecutors have opened a criminal case into President Yoon Suk Yeol over martial law. Yoon has narrowly escaped impeachment. The impeachment motion was prompted by his short-lived attempt to impose martial law in the country. Yoon's People Power Party boycotted the impeachment vote put forward by the main opposition Democratic Party. The motion was scrapped after not enough lawmakers participated. However, the ruling People Power Party said Yoon will eventually have to step down and he will no longer be involved in state affairs, including foreign policy.
Until President steps down, the Prime Minister will work closely with the party to ensure that public welfare and the government administration are managed well according to plan. Even before the resignation, Yoon will not be involved in state affairs, including foreign policy.
Yoon has apologized for declaring martial law earlier this week and has said there will not be another such order. Meanwhile, former Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun has been arrested over his alleged role in Yoon's declaration of martial law. Kim had resigned earlier this week. Yoon shocked the nation on the night of December 3 when he gave the military sweeping emergency powers to root out what he called anti-state forces and obstructionist political opponents. He rescinded the order 6 hours later after Parliament defied military and police cordons to vote unanimously against the decree. This whole ordeal has plunged South Korea, Asia's fourth largest economy, into its greatest political crisis in decades, threatening to damage the country's reputation as a democratic success story. Abhishek Bose for DD India.
Indian priest George Jacob Kuvakard was elevated to the rank of cardinal by Pope Francis at a grand consistory held in the Vatican on Saturday. The ceremony, held at the famous St. Peter's Basilica and attended by clergy and dignitaries from around the world, witnessed the induction of 21 new cardinals from various countries. Hailing from the Archdiocese of Changacheri, which is in Kerala, Kuvakard's appointment brings the total number of Indian cardinals to 6, further strengthening the country's representation at the Vatican. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, other senior leaders and heads of churches across India have welcomed the announcement with joy and pride. In a social media post, PM Modi said that he was delighted at His Eminence George Jacob Kuvakard being created a cardinal by the Holy Roman Catholic Church by His Holiness Pope Francis. Still to come here on DD India Live. The US has announced a $988 million aid package for Ukraine. Ghana's former president Mahama has won the elections. And Buddhist scholars highlight the importance of their cultural heritage in India and Nepal. Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lynn. The United States has announced a $988 million aid package to bolster Ukraine's efforts in its ongoing conflict with Russia. According to the Pentagon, the funds will be used to buy ammunition, drones and spare parts to maintain Ukraine's artillery equipment. Washington, D.C. has committed over $62 billion worth of security assistance to Kiev since the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine conflict in February of 2022.
Announce today the commitment of a new Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative package worth nearly $1 billion. Now that package will provide Ukraine with more drones, more rockets for its HIMARS systems, and more support for crucial maintenance and sustainment.
Thousands of pro-EU protesters rallied in Georgia's capital, Tbilisi, on Saturday night to protest against the government's announcement to halt EU accession talks until 2028. The move is an abrupt freezing of a long-standing national goal of EU membership that is written into Georgia's constitution. The opposition accuses the current Georgian Dream Party government of becoming increasingly authoritarian and pro-Russian. Romania's far-right leader, George Simeon, in fact, has called on the High Court of Cassation, which is the country's top court, to reverse the Constitutional Court's decision that cancelled the presidential election. Meanwhile, Romania's far-right candidate, Georgescu, has slammed the government's verdict. Speaking to the media, Georgescu has said that the country's democracy was cancelled. And this comes after the country's top court had scrapped the presidential elections over alleged irregularities amid claims of the Russian interference into this vote.
We shall continue in the democratic manner. I ask very clear for peace, for all the things which we have to recuperate our democracy, because the democracy was cancelled with a court.
In Germany, the far-right Alternative for Germany party has announced Alice Weidel as its candidate for the post of Chancellor for the snap election on February 23, 2025. Weidel, who has stood out for her ability to avoid being caught up in many of the controversies surrounding her party in recent years, announces the party's manifesto calling for an end to further arms and shipments to Ukraine, the abolition of the Renewable Energy Sources Act, and secure borders. Taiwan said on Sunday that China had nearly doubled the number of its warships around the island in the past 24 hours. China considers Taiwan as its own territory. Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te's latest visit to Hawaii and the U.S.'s territory of Guam as part of a tour of the Pacific region has angered Beijing. China has held 2 rounds of war games around Taiwan this year. Ghana's former president, John Dramani Mahama, has made a political comeback by securing victory in the country's presidential election after his rival, Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia, conceded defeat on Sunday. Speaking at a press conference from his residence, Bawumia announced that he had called Mahama to congratulate him. He also noted that Mahama's National Democratic Congress had won the parliamentary elections. Bawumia stated that his early concession aimed to help ease tensions in the nation. As part of the India-Nepal Cultural Festival in Lumbini, an academic seminar titled Buddhist Cultural Heritage of India and Nepal was held at Lumbini Buddhist University on Sunday. Distinguished Buddhist scholars from India and Nepal attended the seminar, where they shared their insights on the cultural and historical significance of Buddhist heritage in both countries. During the event, experts emphasized on preserving Buddhist inscriptions and cities for spiritual tourism.
So Lumbini Game is the name from 3rd century BC to the present day. We still call this spot as Lumbini. That is the only village in the Southeast Asia which is named from 3rd century BC to present day. So this is a very important inscription he left in Lumbini.
India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar participated in the International Gita Mahotsav 2024 organized in Kurukshetra in the North Indian state of Haryana on Sunday. During the event, Dhankar, along with the Haryana Chief Minister, planted trees under the Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam campaign. The festival began on the 28th of November and is going to conclude on the 15th of this month. The closing day of the Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav, which witnessed a series of dynamic discussions and cultural insights, highlighted the multifaceted potential of the Northeast.
Professor of Energy Studies.
The day began with a session titled Potential for Diversification of Energy Mix for Power Generation and Transmission Across the Region, where experts delved into the challenges and opportunities in enhancing Northeast India's energy sector. The conversation underscored the critical role of energy diversification in propelling the region's growth. The second session, Northeast, its sports culture and potential as a major sports hub, celebrated the vibrant sports culture of the region. The discussion explored how the region's inherent talent and enthusiasm could be harnessed to establish it as a global sports hub.
This we know that Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav, so it's really honor for me being a Northeast and being, this initiative government has done. This initiative is, so I'm so happy and I'm so glad. This is really good initiative, I should say.
As the Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav came to a close, participants left with a renewed understanding of the Northeast's immense potential in energy, sports and culture. The event served as a vital platform for fostering collaboration and celebrating the region's rich legacy. The Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav has been a celebration of Northeast India's unparalleled potential and diversity. It leaves behind a legacy of ideas and aspirations, encouraging policymakers, stakeholders, and citizens to collectively envision a brighter, more inclusive future for the region. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi remarked today that the Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav in Delhi celebrates the Northeast India's vibrant culture. Sharing an article written by the Minister for the Development of the Northeastern Region, Jyotiraditya Scindia, the Prime Minister said that this Mahotsav celebrates the Northeast's vibrant textile sector, tourism opportunities and traditional craftsmanship. Earlier, in an article published in the National Daily, Scindia, who is the Minister, he said that the Northeast of India transformation highlights development of cultural highlights development and cultural resurgence. The Prime Minister Modi's Act East policy evolved to prioritize rapid development in the region. Budget allocation for the Northeast increased to rupees 27. In fact, it increased from rupees 27,359 crores, which was in 2014 and 2015, and that is now 102,749 crores. Now, just to put that figure into perspective, 1 crore is equal to 10 million, so that's a huge amount. Now, the region's airports grew from 9 to 17, with 2 gaining international connectivity. The Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav showcases Northeast's textile, tourism and craftsmanship. PM Modi envisions the Northeast as a key driver for India's growth and unity. India's Minister for Railways, Ashwini Vaishnav, inspected the construction of the new Ganga rail bridge and rail track dubbing the project in Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj on Sunday. During his visit, Vaishnav also said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate this project on the 13th of this month. The project is expected to enhance the connectivity between Uttar Pradesh's Jhansi and Prayagraj and will see trains running on the upgraded track during the Mahakumbh of 2025.
स्टेशन का बहुत बड़ा रोल रहेगा। जो गंगा जी पर नया ब्रिज है वो भी मैंने अभी निरीक्षण किया उसका। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी बहुत जल्दी इस नए ब्रिज का ऑपरेशन करेंगे और जोशी में दोनों स्टेशन के दोनों ही तरफ यात्रियों के रुकने के लिए बहुत अच्छी व्यवस्था की गई है।
The 60th Raising Day celebrations of the Border Security Force was held in India's Jodhpur, Rajasthan on Sunday. On this occasion, a Raising Day parade was organized at the Chandel Parade Ground, where India's Home Minister Amit Shah attended as the chief guest. While addressing the BSF troops, the Home Minister Amit Shah lauded their unwavering commitment to national security. He said that for 6 decades, with their courage, bravery and sacrifice, the BSF has fortified the first line of defense of our nation, standing resilient against every challenge.
6 दशकों से साहस, शौर्य, बलिदान, इसके बल पर ही आपने देश के फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस को उसका बिरुद प्राप्त करने का काम किया है और न केवल आप फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस के रूप में जाने जाते हैं, वहां पर आने वाली सभी चुनौतियों को पार कर कर देश की सुरक्षा की प्रथम पंक्ति को मजबूत करने का काम मेरे बीएसएफ के जवानों ने किया है। और इसी का कारण कि सीमा पर से कोई भी सूचना आती है किसी अप्रिय घटना की और जब मालूम होता है कि वहां बीएसएफ का जवान मौजूद है तो मन में देश के गृह मंत्री को जरा भी चिंता नहीं होती है, मेरे जवान है, उससे निपट लेंगे।
Well, India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati recently launched Waves, entering the field of OTT. And Waves, it provides a complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audiences. If you want to enjoy great content, then download Waves today. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, you can get the latest news and updates also from the DD India mobile app. That app is available in both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code and download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lynn. From all of us here in Delhi, thank you very much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.